When did the collapse of the economy happen? 2008, 7 years apart. When did it take place? It took place in September of 2008, 7 years to the month of 9/11. When precisely? The second week of September, 7 years to the week of 9/11, the first shaking. And in fact, when America was commemorating 9/11, on Wall Street, the second calamity was being set in motion on Wall Street that day. And it gets even more precise and more mind-boggling, because what was the greatest day of this collapse? The collapse of 2008, the greatest day was the end of September. It was the greatest stock market crash in the history of America, the history of Wall Street, crashed over 700 points. And it took place. When did this greatest crash in American history take place? It happened on the biblical 29th day of Elul, the biblical day appointed for the judgment of a nation's financial realm, the day that wipes clean the financial slates of the nation, wipes away credit, debt. It's the Shemitah, wipes away, you have the Great Recession. It's one colossal Shemitah of God coming across the nation and the world. And if you go back 7 years before that, this is a 7-year mystery, what happens? You find not only 9/11, you come September 2001, but you find the other greatest crash in American history. It took place in September 17th, the other greatest crash up to that day, and it was the greatest crash in American history up to that day, and it stayed for 7 years. And so when did that take place? On the biblical calendar, it took place on the biblical 29th day of Elul, the day appointed for the judgment of a nation that has driven God out of its life, that strikes and wipes away its financial realm. The two greatest stock market crashes, it's mind-boggling, in American history up to those days happened on the exact day of the Shemitah, and exactly 7 years apart, which is the mystery of the Shemitah, to the exact days. And the first crash, took place because of 9/11. It was caused by 9/11 a few days before, so even 9/11 is in this mystery. And this, in the book, goes into there's a message behind it, a biblical message, that this is the warning, saying, because there's a Hebrew word means that collapse, that the American era as we know it, the American age as we know it, is heading for collapse. We are watching the beginning of the end of the American era if we do not turn back.
Pastor, we got about 2.5 minutes. Obviously, as of right now, the American people aren't getting it. The church isn't getting it. Maybe they will before it's too late. But judging from the prophetic trend that you've seen, where do you think we are right now in the next stage? You got about 2 minutes.
Okay, if we look at the nation itself, it does not look like the way it's going. The mainstream culture is going so rapidly away from God. So there is no sign of it turning back. So if, at the same time, just to say, God is still looking at his people. There's the whole ultimate message is, if my people, it's for those who will turn and pray. So the way it's going is we are now still in the shadow of the second shaking, and there will be another one, and there are several forms that can take place, but the ultimate thing is that we will the crown that is on America as the head of nations is going to be removed. If we don't turn back, that's one of the first things we're going to see, is the removal of America's crown as head of nations, and then the removal of prosperity, removal of peace, the removal of protection, all those things if we don't turn back. There can be revival. There can be judgment and revival. The point of the Harbinger, the point of the book, the point of what's going out with the Harbinger is to call America back. That is our burden.
Insanity. Do they know who's responsible for this? Terrorists, or it's just assumptions?
Right now,
no, it's just assumptions,
and,
but
the author
good luck
is
to you.
Pastor
Please
Jonathan
be safe.
Kahn. Our audience,
there is no way out of here if you can just stay put.
At theharbingerwebsite.com.
And this is the
that
problem.
The best
A lot of
place?
people are just trying to figure out what are we going to do. That's kind of why everybody's sort of approaching me. Just take
Amazon,
a look.
Barnes & Noble, Walmart, CBD, everywhere. You don't have to get it through me, but you can get it through there. If you want to get the teachings behind the Harbinger, the full revelation, there's DVDs that has the images of the Harbinger. We put up the Harbinger, theharbingerwebsite.com or theharbingerwebsite.org for that. And if you want it, the ministry is Hope of the World. So you can get us at hopeoftheworld.org or hopeoftheworld.com. And the other thing is they just came out with a DVD called the Isaiah 9:10 Judgment, a two-hour documentary, powerful. It just became the #1 faith video in America. You can get that on Amazon.com. So it's really, these things are everywhere.
And I've got the book downloaded on my Kindle. You can get an electronic copy of it also. It is a sobering book to read, because when you comprehend that we are reenacting an ancient biblical event, it is so bizarre that in our lifetime, in real time, our nation and our national leaders are actually reenacting things that happened thousands of years ago to ancient Israel. It is a very chilling, sobering realization that if this happened to the Israelites thousands of years ago and it did not have a happy ending, what are the chances, what are the odds that we're going to reenact the very same things and even speak the same words, and somehow we're going to defy the odds and we're going to have a happy ending? We're not going to have a happy ending. We're going to have a tragic ending. And I don't believe anything is set in stone. I believe God has given us free choice, and we have the option to choose repentance. God sent